things which I've heard you talk about when it comes to your coaching approach, and you've had outstanding success as a coach, both for Western Australia and now as a coach of the Australian international men's team. You talk about this idea of elite honesty. And you heard Paul talk a moment ago about what we're seeing in Australia and Australian value, and honesty is number one. In fact, it's twice that in importance than any other value. I'd love to hear about your thoughts on elite honesty and why that's so important to you as a coach, and how does that breed success?
Well, first, I've said this 1,000 times to a lot of people, but I think honest conversations can fix everything. And it's the Australian way, as I know it, to look someone in the eye and tell them the truth. And I did a coaching interview with John Buchanan a few days ago in Brisbane, and he asked me about if you're giving advice to young coaches or senior leaders or anyone in a leadership position, I said, number one is learn how to have honest conversations. So it fixes everything. I also promised my dad when I became a coach that I would always give honest feedback and be honest to the players, because I knew as an ex-player it didn't happen very often. So therefore you're in limbo a bit, and there's nothing worse than being in limbo. And the truth is that all players ask really for is just honest feedback. It's not just about cliched general feedback. Look them in the eyes and tell them the truth. Now, the truth is that can keep you awake at night, knowing that that's coming up. The honest conversations are coming up. But honesty is important, and I believe that honesty breeds trust, and trust breeds honesty. So if you learn how to have honest conversations, that breeds trust in relationship, and whatever business we're in, relationships are so important. So therefore, honesty breeds trust, and then actually trust breeds honesty. And there's a great example right now. We talked about, I love what you guys are doing. It was actually a foundation of some of the things we're doing with the team when we met with Anthony Everard in his office 12 or so months ago. But Glenn Maxwell, incredibly public, Glenn Maxwell pulling out of the Australian cricket team, and that just happened yesterday. Now, what I'm most proud about of that is that he feels he's in an environment, a young Aussie bloke who puts on the mask, who's the great entertainer, he's the great talent, he's the ripping bloke around the team, he's always the energy. When I saw him a few days ago, mate, because he's not right, he hasn't been right for a while. How you going, mate? Not going good, coach. Now, wow, and that can be confronting, but for him to have the courage to say that, and then he knew, being Glenn Maxwell, particularly in this state, is like a cult figure. If we ever talk about not dropping Glenn Maxwell, I'm the worst bloke in the world. I'll leave him out. But the fact is, he is a real he's in the public eye, particularly for cricket-loving Australians. So he knew it was going to take courage. He knew there was going to be a lot of discussion about it. But for him to have the courage to do that, I've got great respect for him. But most importantly, that we've been able to build trust over time, that he feels in a spot, because Aussie blokes aren't very good at it, and he's in a position where he can be honest and have the courage and be vulnerable and say, I'm not right, and I've got to go and get better.